I'm innocent. And Mama, I love you. P.O.P. all the time.
Hey!
P.O.P.
Holding it down. What it do? What it do? Welcome to our first segment of P.O.P.
Craig.
Political opinions. Of course, we got Sum It Up and then Divine Talks. But today, we got a new segment called, once again, Pop Goes the Weasel. Political opinions.
Pop.
With, of course, Mona G. Then you got Big Baby Giant. And then you got DJ Jazzy Shelf with David Ruffin.
Wait a minute. It's DJ Jazzy Jeff.
Norby.
But
my apologies. Please correct me because it's small. So I'm just kind of like, I'm zooming in, then I'm zooming out, and then I'm shaking it all about, and I'm doing the hokey pokey.
Hokey pokey. And
And
turn your
turning-
dumb ass around and listen to this podcast.
actual, factual.
Listen to this track.
So, of course, with political opinions, we are going to be talking about who Trump dumped. Trump versus Elon Musky. Trump versus the people.
And everything is alleged.
Trump versus Iran. I meant to edit this, but it's
For
supposed to say
entertainment purposes only.
Israel and Iran. Please like, share, and subscribe. Like, share, subscribe. Viewers' discretion is advised. And just like the title said, political opinions. These are alleged. These are not, they some facts, but most of it is opinions about what's going on in the world.
Everything is alleged.
Alleged.
You just catch me on the camera. It wasn't me. They just catch me on the camera. It wasn't me. They just catch me on the camera. That's all I knew.
And I'm
It
sorry
wasn't
for this
me.
man, but if I seen him, I wouldn't know who he is.
I wouldn't even know. I wouldn't know a thing. He could be walking down the street. I wouldn't know a thing.
He watch too much.
So Trump versus Elon Musky, pimp and bikini bottom.
That's hilarious. I was waiting for this photo.
If you do not know, Trump and Elon Musky, they had the beef. They was together.
They broke up.
Especially during the Trump campaign. You know, Elon Musk highly advocated for this man for the Make America Great Again, which I find very ironic because, sir, you're not even from America.
We're literally in a depression. I don't know how people don't see that about some again.
We are. Everyone is depressed. You depressed. I'm depressed. They depressed. They look depressed.
You see, look at they set. Look at Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy. Just the
right. You know what? Looking at Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy, I can't tell which one is who. They look one and the same.
Girl, is you? Girl,
you said it because at first I felt like Elon was the pimp and Trump was the bottom. But now it reversed because the bottom done came up to the pimp status. And Elon Musk is not a bikini bottom because the real issue is because of this big, beautiful bill, not BBL, but BBB, not BBW, but BBB.
BBD.
And not BB guns, but BB. B, not CDV, not DVD, not HV1.
Big Bex Bracken.
But initially, the fallout happened because Elon Musk didn't like that within the big, beautiful bill that the tax cut was cutting and is cutting his Teslas. So when it started affecting his business, he was like, "Oh, you doing me wrong. Oh, you doing the public wrong. Oh, that's why you ain't never. That's why you said you was gonna uncover the Epstein case, but you never did because you were part of that as well." Right?
You know what Elon was like, oh, you want to talk about mamas. Okay.
Look like pals to me. Look like buddies to me.
You want to talk about mother?
I mean, okay, so I think that Trump has definitely been around town. He's been to every party. He's been to the Epstein's party. He's been to the Diddy parties. He's been to the Clive Davis's party. He's been to the Hugh Hefner party. There haven't been a party that he hasn't been a part of. Now he's part of the Republican Party. He just like being at parties.
Ain't no party like an underage party because Trump go be up in it.
Yeah.
Somebody
allegedly.
I want to say somebody dead babies. Somebody
babies dead. Oh my God.
Exactly. That's why I didn't want to say it. I'm like, that's exactly what it is. Somebody that.
Yeah.
Shout
out to Cuban Good and Junior.
Look like besties to me. And then Elon, first of all, Elon looked like.
Go back to the Elon slide. Go back to Elon. Go back to the style
before they deport him.
They need to deport Trump's wife because she's an immigrant too.
Oh, yes, ma'am. Oh,
well, Trump, Trump and Elon, they used each other for what they needed to use each other for. Trump used Elon to help fund his political campaign, and Elon used Trump to try to sustain his spaceships that keep blowing up everywhere. In space.
He need to stop using that cheap material. Stop being cheap.
He uses aluminum foil. That's what he uses.
He uses soda cans.
Yeah.
They blowing up like Ocean Gate.
the Pimp Scare.
Yeah.
What's it? Ice House.
A Colt 44. Colt 40.
So speaking of Ocean Gate, so I did watch the documentary. Let's just say it was a billionaire that wanted to make some money, that wanted to be the king of entrepreneurship, and he had a big infatuation with the Titanic. He was a man that came from wealth. He went to a prestigious school. He decided he wanted to continue his prestigiousness. So he decided to build a soda can to go and view the Titanic. And just like any soda can, when you put pressure on it, it's going to crush. And that's what happened. But when you making something, an invention, and you ain't got no money, what you got to do? You got to seek out investors. And that's what he did. He seeked out investors to help fund his soda can. And those same investors went down with him in his soda can. And just like him, because he wanted to be the star of the show, he did not listen to the engineers. He did not listen to the inspector. He did not listen to anyone that told him that this was a dangerous operation. He decided, I'm going to drive the boat.
Sound like the Nutcracker.
And that's what he did. He drove the boat down to the Titanic and it exploded.
Sound like the nutcracker to me. Because one thing they got, crack. And it was probably on crack.
But yeah.
Is definitely over. President Trump and Elon Musk erupted into a nasty public feud today.
I'm very disappointed in Elon. I've helped Elon a lot.
The extraordinary squabble happened before the eyes of the world as the president was meeting with the Chancellor of Germany in the Oval Office. He claims Musk has turned against him because the big, beautiful bill removes the tax credits for buying electric cars like Teslas.
I'm very disappointed because Elon knew the inner workings of this bill better than almost anybody sitting here, better than you people. He knew everything about it. He had no problem with it. All of a sudden he had a problem, and he only developed the problem when he found out that we're going to have to cut the EV mandate.
Musk was listening and he responded in real time, basically calling Trump a liar. False. This bill was never shown to me even once, he declared on social media as Trump bashed him. Such ingratitude. Without me, Trump would have lost the election. The president says Musk has a case of Trump derangement syndrome.
I'll tell you, he's not the first. People leave my administration, they leave, and they wake up in the morning, and the glamour's gone, the whole world is different, and they become hostile.
You could see he looked visibly sad when talking about this fraying relationship with someone that he has viewed for so long now as a good friend of his.
The rift is reportedly so deep, Musk won't even take calls from the White House.
Members of Trump's team have reached out to Elon Musk. No response.
Elon and I had a great relationship. I don't know if it went well anymore. I was surprised.
Y'all, y'all know why I was laughing? Because I was like, Trump need lip fillers and a facelift.
Bruh, he looked like a tight booty hole. Like like every time I see him talk, it's
giving
like yes, shitless. There you go.
He get whoopee cushion.
But in response to the video, like, cause I seen that video before. I don't feel like, Trump doesn't owe Elon anything. He was a part of an administration. He didn't have to tell him about what his plans were. And he knew who Trump was when he was having the talks about his political views. It's just that because it's affecting him, now he want to have a tentative champion. No, you can't co-sign with a part of him. No, you got to co-sign everything that's about him because you are a man, a foreign man in this country. You need the help of government assistance, which is government contracts to fund your egotistic ideas. And now that basically your water got cut off, now you want to act like a big baby.
Your water well done ran dry.
And then the fact that he lied talking about he's never seen this BBB, you're lying. Just like you said, you co-signed. That means you read before you sign your name on that dotted line. Before you start dishing out that money, y'all had plenty of conversation. So even though you may have allegedly never seen that bill, y'all had talks about that bill. So let's get into Trump versus the people, the riots. So, June 11, 2025, there was an ICE raid protesting against what ICE has been doing. Where is mine? Not only was there a protest in LA, there was also a protest in Minneapolis. Now, the one in Minneapolis, that one started because ICE actually began picking up the mothers and the fathers at a graduation. So the teachers started the protest, and then it turned into where ICE began, and then ICE and the police officers, they began trying to. My bad, y'all. They began trying to stop the raids. I'm sorry, not the raids. Stop the riots from happening. And then that's when LA did the same thing. They started protesting. And I got my notes, y'all, because sometimes I do be forgetting. But with the riots, there have been plenty of riots like the ones once again in Minneapolis and in LA, enforcing Trump in retaliation to the riots. Trump enforced ICE raids, immigration, causing uproar in the communities. And Trump also sent over 4,000 National Guards and 700 Marines in response to these raids. And rubber bullets, tear gas, and force was also used. Now, one thing about these riots, I will say, and I'm very much proud of, is the Black community supporting from afar and not being on the front line of these riots. Because there was if you watch some of the videos that have been showing about these riots, you had some rioters beating up the policemen. Now, if that was the Black community, them rubber bullets would have been real bullets. People would have been getting killed.
You know it.
People would have been getting sent in jail. And even though, yes, they would have been getting sent in jail, they would have been got injured, harmed. They would have been saying, oh, this is ghetto. Oh, this is not how you conduct yourself. This, that, and the third. Like, no. And of course, with the ICE, it's not just, you know, the Latinos. It's also any immigrant. So if you from India, if you from Africa, if you from Japan, China, they're targeting everybody. But mainly they're mainly targeting our Black and brown communities. Because Jazz, we was just talking about this earlier, how they're really not targeting, you know, your French, your Russians, your Canadians, the complexion for the protection type immigrants. And then I recently learned that Russia had has this thing where pregnant women actually come to America and they birth their children here so they can receive those benefits. And Trump actually have properties where Russian women are being birthed there so they can having their children at these houses so they can receive those benefits. And going back to what, you know, Jazz, you said earlier, that Trump's wife is an immigrant and the people he hangs with are immigrants.
Melania. Yeah.
Vaina.
Mm-hmm.
I only know about Ayanna Van Zant. That's the only Ayanna close to me.
But you know what? I have two different stances on when it comes to the riots. Okay, so my first stance is like you said, I'm glad that, you know, Black people are looking from afar and allowing the immigrants and the people that want to support the immigrants, you know, protest. Because when it was our time to protest, and before, you know, let's start from the beginning. If it wasn't for us protesting in the 50s, in the 60s, a lot of those immigrants that did came over to America wouldn't even have the opportunities that they have today. So now that we've been protesting from the 50s to the 60s, and then in 2020 when Black Lives Matter, they sat on the sideline while we protested, knowing that we were not only protesting for us as Black people, but we was protesting for y'all as well. And y'all stood by, and y'all didn't care. So now we're supposed to stand up and care. No, y'all fight the fight, and then if we're ready, then we'll come and join in that fight. But I'm just gonna sit back and just allow things to proceed as it is. I'm not about to stand and join in a fight with people that don't even look at us as the same, because at the end of the day, we're all are minorities. But a lot of other races that are not white, they look as themselves as they look as white people as hierarchy. They look as themselves they're second class from that, and then they look at us as Black people as we're below that standard. But now that in this political era, they're looked as one of the same as us. But we were just born here. We were just born here. They just, walked over or flew over here.
I love that you said that, especially when you said back in the 50s and 60s, because what also happened around that time, the Vietnam War, our soldiers, our black men and women, because even though women weren't our women weren't fighting in the front line, but they were still doing, they still had their jobs they had to do. Even with that movie that came out with Tyler Perry, where he let us know that women were the reason why mail was even being sent properly back to families, because Black women, they were handling the mailing department. But overall, they still, what happened every time when our Black sisters and brothers came home? We fought the good fight just to get treated like dirt when we came back. So no, I'm glad that we are stepping back.
Yeah, I agree with that as well. Now, I did say I have a second stance, which is my second stance is technically, if you're an immigrant here and you didn't go through the legal channels, technically you shouldn't be here in the United States. And I'm gonna say that. Because me and you talked about this. We can't just go to another country and be like, oh, I want the same rights as y'all, but I'm not born in y'all country.
Yep.
But you know what's ironic about that? Immigrants will still receive more assistance than a natural born American.
Right. And I think that's what Trump is trying to allude, even though he's being selective, because he did allow those white Africans to come over to United States because they were going through a racial political standpoint in South Africa. They fear for their life in their own country, just like we do every day. He rescued them and he took them in and he gave them benefits, but they're immigrants as well. They're not from here. Mm-hmm. So, he's selective when it comes to who he wants to support. He just blatantly said, I don't like them immigrants that look brown or Black.
You know what it reminds me of?
I don't want them to have the same rights as people that look like me.
You know what it reminds me of? You know how like interracial couples, they will especially if it's a white woman who dates a Black man, she really don't like him as a Black person, but she fetishes his private parts. Yeah. So I only like parts of you. I only like parts of you, but as a whole, you disgust me.
Yeah.
And that's what Trump gives to me, especially since, once again, you married to an immigrant, but you really don't like who she is for real.
Mm-hmm. He been grabbing people
after immigration officials conducted several raids and arrested dozens of people on Friday. NBC's Steve Patterson is in LA with more on this. Steve, good morning.
Yeah, Joe, tense night here in L.A. with at times fully armored authorities in riot gear facing off with protesters after a day of these flashpoints at these federal immigration raids. Take a look at this. The raids starting in the morning with federal employees targeting a clothing wholesaler. The video here, dramatic. Dozens of agents fully geared, often in multiple armored trucks, using flashbangs, deploying pepper spray on a crowd, attempting to block vehicles. These flashpoints then continuing throughout the day. In all, federal agents executing 4 search warrants at 3 locations across central Los Angeles, resulting in 45 arrests. The action culminating in a protester standoff with LAPD officers lining up downtown, facing off against demonstrators after authorities ordered crowds to disperse around nightfall. Police there declaring an unlawful assembly, ordering about 200 protesters to break up at about 7 with the use of less lethal munitions authorized after officials say a smaller, more violent group started throwing.
Y'all, I want to pause this because seeing this irritates me because it would have been blood on the streets if it was black people protesting.
Pieces of concrete at officers. No solid report at this time. Concrete at officers. No solid report at this time on the severity of injuries on either side so far.
Yeah, and Steve, I know while all this was happening in the streets, there was also this battle really being waged between politicians.
In a tactic that sows.
So this is what the mayor said. She said, as mayor of a proud city of immigrants who contribute to our city in so many ways, I am deeply angered by what has taken place. These tactics sow terror in our communities. We will not stand for this. So like I said, I am proud of what you guys are doing as a people, as a collective, but as a black person myself, I'm just going to support from afar. And even down to, it was crazy to me when Somerville was protesting the Trump no king situation. I was like, dang, all these white people just coming out the woodwork protesting. And it was really because of the image. I was like, well, dang. Where was y'all at? Where was y'all antennas?
Because you know what they like to do, right? They like to blatantly be like, you know what? I'm not gonna support the stuff that I did to cause the rift and the racist rift and the blatant treatment of black people. So I'm not going to support the black people because I know what my ancestors have done to black people, but I'm going to try to rectify what has done by supporting the immigration community. Like, you know, that backhand support, that's what a lot of white people like to do. They like to do backhand supporting. And it's like, no, if you're going to support something, you need to support something all the way, because a lot of those people that are out there protesting, a lot of those white people that are out there protesting, they voted for Trump. So I'm just like, if
I will vote.
I will vote for Donald Trump.
Right, y'all was out there praising that man's name. Now y'all mad at what he's doing now.
Arriba. Yeah. But continue. I just had to throw that in there because that's
like what? I mean, y'all knew of his plans since his first term. Y'all knew of his plans. This man built a wall to try to stop immigrants from coming to America. Now, was that a stupid plan? Yes, because that's a really big wall. You're not the Great Wall of China. But he was like, you know what? I'm gonna do this differently because these are my same plans. I'm just gonna heighten them up. I'm gonna learn how to because his first term he didn't know anything political. He just had this thing where, I got a lot of money. People gonna rally against me. I'm being here and I'm gonna try to do what I want to do. now he's like, oh, okay, I'm learning how to manipulate the government to my own personal gain. I don't want these immigrants in here because I don't want to use my taxpayer money to fund the resources that they're getting. So I'm going to make sure that I look at the budget of America, decrease things that I feel as though that the American people don't need, fund ICE so I can get these immigrants out of here.
He sound like a true criminal to me.
Right.
Because ain't that's what a criminal do? As soon as they get locked up, is they just find a better way to be a better criminal.
Yeah.
Even though he didn't get locked up, he got a slap on the wrist. He's still a felon, but he just learned how to be a more smarter felon.
Yeah.
And then my thing is, like you said, y'all, they're pretending like, especially like the Candace Owens of the world. You advocated for this man, and now you want to say, oh, he's a bad man, but y'all want to talk about patriotism so much, and I'm talking about the white people, anybody, the
yeah,
of the world. He literally rated. So Trump to me is a terrorist. He's a terrorist. He's a felon. He's a criminal. You sit up there and terrorize the White House, but you voted this man in. But then you scream patriotism. How's that? That don't scream? What? That's not patriotism. That's not being for America. That's being against America. But then they want to cry wolf when things are not going their way. Even down to let's even go to the white farmers. The white farmers voted for Trump because they thought Trump was going to take care of them. You see how that backfired? To the DEIs, you see how that backfired? Everything you go against, everything you go for is actually going against towards you.
Birdo, like you went.
Simone, play it again.
I will vote for Donald Trump. I will vote for Donald Trump. Let's go. Latino for Trump. I will vote for Donald Trump.
Y'all know what this man wanted.
And you know what's crazy about this? The wife and her husband who made this song and performed this song for Donald Trump, he's now deported. You see how God works? Yeah.
And play it again for her husband.
Crazy work.
For Donald Trump.
And I'm mad this shit catchy. Only like the beat.
For Donald Trump. Let's go. Latino for Trump. I will vote for Donald Trump. Bueno, señoras y señores.
Like, would it been so bad? Would it have been so bad if we had a woman president?
It wouldn't have been so bad because there are so many examples of women leadership dating back to BC days. There's been so many examples of women leadership, and then not only that, you do have men in leadership that get most of their ideals from who? Their wives. Even if they're not in the front front, they get their political views from their women.
I believe that because I believe Michelle advised Barack Obama all the time. She was his right-hand man. Mm-hmm. And that's why they wanted Michelle to run for office, because they knew that she was also a part of a lot of the plans that he was trying to implement. Now, look, I know that people be like, oh, Barack Obama didn't do this, Barack Obama didn't do that. Okay, the things, one, he was a black man that was in charge of a White House, if you want to subliminally, think about that. He had a lot of things that he tried to, a lot of things that he had against him. One, he was a Democrat that had Republican Party majority in the House. So if you have majority Republicans in the House, majority Republicans in Congress, they are not going to support majority of the things that he want to implement because they want to see they want to see this. I'm gonna say the N word not progress. They'd be like, oh yeah, they thought he was effective. But when he got into the office, he wasn't like that at all.
Shoot, they recently just appointed their first coon, I want to say like a year ago, into the Supreme Court.
Right.
It's the first coon for me.
Cause he set up there, he set up there and approved abortions. Trump versus Iran and Israel. So at first, Trump wanted to keep his distance. He was like, I'm my name Bennett and I ain't in it. Because the Iran and Israel war has been going on for so long. And the reason why it's been going on for so long, because Israel feels like they are the chosen ones and the resources and the land that Iran has, it belongs to us. So what they've been doing is just been going at it. Now, whatever dealings Trump has with Israel basically gave him an ultimatum. Either you gonna help me or I'm gonna help you. And the help that you want from us is the help you do not want from us. So that's when Trump made the which I feel like one of the dumbest decisions that he's already, out of all the list of dumb decisions that he's made, the dumbest decision that he's ever made was bombing Iran. And then you got the Secretary of Defense talking about this was a brilliant plan by a brilliant man. And we effectively stopped Iran from making missiles. And then, I don't know if y'all watched the interview with the Secretary of Defense, the reporters asked him, do you think that you guys were efficient enough to stop Iran from bombing Israel and making missiles? He said, oh no, we're not going to talk about the specifics right now. We're going to talk about what's at hand. And then another reporter asked him, well, how are y'all supporting the troops, the ones who was on the front line? He basically said, oh, we're taking care of them to the best of our abilities, and through this process they'll eventually have to go through a negotiated peace. You
gotta have two people that want peace. You got two countries that has been fighting since 1995.
Jazz, you gotta speak up a little bit closer to the I don't know if you sound kind of far away.
Oh, okay, I'm back. Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay, so you got two countries that has been fighting since 1995. If they wanted peace, it should have happened in 1997. Okay, like you said, Israel want Iran resources. Iran like, no, fam. These are my resources. Get out my backyard. So you have to have two people that want peace. What do we have have no right to be going in them people's backyard and telling them how they should build a fence. We have no right to do that.
Y'all, look at this picture. Did he tan? Like, is this spray tan? My bad. I just be looking at Trump like, you is one ugly motherfucker.
He looks sick.
And why he balling up his fist like it's power to the people?
Right. Not his people. Or maybe it is. Who knows?
But yeah, back to the Iran and Israel. He should have never involved himself. But he wants to because he wants to feel like a dictator. And once again, war brings in money for the wealthy. It doesn't bring in money for the poor. It actually makes us more poor. And then I hope that there's not a World War III, because one, you're gonna have our young folks who may be getting drafted. Secondly, they already are testing children in high school already to see if they're ready for war. And they're only doing it in public schools. Of course, they're not going to do it in private schools, because who the private schoolers are for? The wealthy, majority. And I do believe that's why they're and speaking on the Job Corps situation, making it harder for people to seek education. And I feel like that's linked to them wanting our young folks to go into war, into these senseless wars. And of course, people in the military, they have many reasons why they go into the military. You know, majority is to feed their family. They're not, of course, they sign the dotted line, but they don't want to just go into war, into these senseless wars. You see what happened to Afghanistan? That was a senseless war.
Very senseless. That was a very senseless war. Just for the Taliban to basically gain their control over their country, which they wanted to do anyways. That's, like I said, we needed to get out them people's backyard and stop telling them how to build a fence. We don't know them people.
So this is what Trump said. Oh, my bad. You was about to say something? So Trump said we have two countries that have been fighting so long and so hard that they don't know what the fuck they're doing. Trump told reporters at the White House he was going to see if he could stop it when asked about the continued attacks lobbied by both sides overnight after parts of the ceasefire were put into place. Iran, violated it, but Israel violated it too. Israel, as soon as we made the deal, they came out and they dropped a load of bombs, the likes of which I've never seen before. The biggest load that we've seen.
Looking on a toilet.
Not the biggest one.
Yo, hey, he looked retarded. Man, I promise y'all.
Hey, I seen that interview, and I was just cracking up because I was like, what in the world? But you know what? It's like, Trump, you rally behind Israel. You really think that Israel was going to stop ceasefire after you put B-2 bombs and dropped it on Iran? They just needed a boost. Israel needed a boost out of fear of Iran. Israel has been planning to bomb Iran. That was their plan. But they needed help from another country because they're part of NATO. They probably went to other country that's a part of NATO. They didn't get what they want. So they hit a lick with Trump. And Trump was in bed with Israel. I don't know what the ramifications was, but he's definitely in bed with Israel. Israel was like, you know what? I'm going to help you out, but you better help me out too. So that's what he did. That's what Israel did. You have to have two people that want peace. They never wanted peace. It's always been like, this is mine. I want it. This is how I'm gonna get it. But they needed help. And what did they did? They got Trump to bomb Iran. Because you gotta think there's still a war going on between Russia and Ukraine. Ukraine is a part of NATO. He didn't, when it came to threats, all Trump did was threat Russia. He didn't rally behind Ukraine and be like, you know what, I'm gonna send these B-2 bombs over there. I'm gonna send all these resources. He didn't do that. He was like, because Ukraine didn't have anything that Trump needed, because you know he's all about his own personal gain. So he was like, Iran, you need to figure that out on your own. And they're both still going at it.
Trump basically showed his hand because NATO is nothing but a space game, and he showed his hand.
Yeah, he did. And now he's trying to renege. No. And you know, I hate reneges. I hate renegers.
Hate niggas real bad. That shit is funny as fuck because he definitely reneged.
Yes.
And so he said, okay, now you have 12 hours. You don't go out in the first hour, just drop everything you have on them. So I'm not happy with them. I'm not happy with Iran either. Because you, just like you said, you should have never went in their backyard. This was not peanut butter and jelly time right now.
Like, and then my thing is, you need to choose your players wisely. You're talking about a spade game. You went into a spade game thinking you had somebody that had big hands. Like, you don't know who Iran have allies with.
And if they ally with China, and you know China is not in favor of the United States right now, especially with the terror situation. No, they are not in favor of Trump right now. I'm gonna say Trump because this is a Trump thing.
And you know what? Maybe he should have allied with Iran because Iran got one resource that everybody wants: uranium.
Nukes. They got them nukes.
So, if we go into war, it is what it is.
So, Trump versus sleeper cells. Sleeper cells are spies or terrorists who operate in rival countries and remain inactive until they are essentially ordered to act. Let me widen my screen so I can read this. It says, news. Iran threatened to unleash attacks by sleeper cells inside United States if attacked, according to NBC News. According to the outlet, the message was sent through an intermediary to President Trump at the G7 summit in Canada. Iran sent a communique to Trump in the days before last night's strikes on its nuclear facilities, threatening to activate sleeper cell terror inside the United States if it were attacked, sources said. So sleeper cells are basically like your John Wicks, your 007s, your Mission Impossibles.
And don't forget Denzel Washington.
And your Denzels. When it's time to go, activate, it's time to go. So they can be your bombers like 9/11. They can end up shooting up grocery stores, schools, kill, assassinate whoever, and it'll be your everyday people. You've been working. You was working with Sally for 10 years. All of a sudden, Sally ain't show up one day. Then boom, she on the news. They done caught her. She done killed so and so. And you was like, Sally? Not Sally. Sally coming every day.
Every day.
salad with the potato salad with the raisins.
Right.
I should have
Always
known
on
what you put
time.
raisins in there.
The last, either the second to last or the last to leave, always greeting you with a friendly smile. You can have a good conversation with her whole time. She's a spy, an assassin. And yes, Trump should be worried. Even though Iran may not actually, unalive him, but you never know what could happen. And it's very scary because you do have these large cities, like especially Iran threatened New York City.
Right.
That's not good.
Nope.
Iran said, y'all better sleep with one eye open, because I might shut the other
And both eyes behind your back. In a good
Yo, that shit funny as hell. Because
you know what Iran gonna do? Iran gonna hire some tree cutters and cut all the 7 trees that's left in New York.
New York gonna be the first test dummy for the Lorax.
Yeah.
Start selling air. Shit, Iran gonna cut the air off too. Cut the water off, the air off. Shit, and not only that, if Iran link up with Russia, we really fucked. You got your high tech people in Russia.
Trump ain't wanted to go to bed with Russia. That's why Russia said, you better stay over there now. You better stay over there.
Find you something safe to do.
Yeah. You better go play in traffic.
Let me play this for y'all.
Sleeper cells. It sounds kind of like this nefarious James Bond thing. Can you maybe walk us through what this actually looks like?
Absolutely. So it is nefarious. Since the regime's inception, since its creation with the Islamic Revolution in 1979, they have used sleeper cells, Iranian operatives on foreign soil, to murder and harass critics. Perhaps most infamously in Germany in the early 1990s, when there was a group of Iranian Kurdish dissidents who were murdered in a Greek restaurant. This was a big scandal at the time, about 3 decades ago. And it resulted in Iran's ambassador to Germany at the time being expelled. There have been other incidents as well of the regime using its operatives on foreign soil, these sleeper cells. For example, in 2011, there was a plot that was uncovered to murder the ambassador, Saudi Arabia ambassador, who was at the time here in D.C. They plotted to blow up a restaurant called Cafe Milan, and this was uncovered and exposed.
So are these sleeper cells basically just, I'm trying to process this in real time with my friend here who is watching this. Is it more or less like a spy agency, or is it one of those things where, as I think the imagination kind of goes, that there are, quote unquote sleeper cells ready to carry out attacks in the United States? Which one is it more like? Is it more like the special agent 007 thing, or is it, maybe a little bit more, the lack of a better word, scary, where, they're here to do damage to a country that they're not thrilled with?
It's both. They do commit acts of espionage.
So that's scary. So I would just say stay prayed up. Be cautious who you surround yourself with, because you just never know. This is a very scary time. Do y'all have any in remarks?
No cap though.
I just feel like we are in a time of definitely uncertainty.
Yeah.
I would say that, we need to stay prepared, stay prepared as in if things does happen, because we're on the East Coast, so if things does transpire, just we need to make sure we're prepared. We have bags, we have prepare with just canned goods, just prepare for
I've been saying,
what
What
if.
about us? My bad.
Yep, I've been saying that too. Definitely, stock up and shit, and read and not just that. Read up on what's going on in your local area too, as well.
Right. Yeah, because going back to there's a lot of me living in Charleston. It's been a lot of raids when it comes to ISIS, so it's like it's a lot of civil things that's been going on in our own backyard. So a lot of civil division and a lot of world division. It's just a lot of uncertainty. You just never know. And I just feel sad that for a lot of these people that are going into the military, because let's be clear, a lot of them go into the military for security, financial security. They don't anticipate to really go into war. So the fact that with the things that's going on that actually might go into war, I just pray that they stay safe and they keep a mindset of, if something does happen, that that they don't fear what's going to happen. They just I pray that they stay prayed up and they keep their faith, because it's just a lot of things going on, and it's just a lot of things going on. And I know they say don't talk about political things, but you know what, we need to start having a conversation.
We need to open our fucking mouth and say shit. The fuck?
Right, and because we've stayed quiet about political conversations for so long, that's why we have Trump as a president.
Snap,
making decisions for us that we don't want as American people in whole. We put money in place of the power that we are supposed to have as the people. We're not we as the people anymore. As money is driving the people, and that's why we have things that are going on that's now, and is determining our own safety and survival. So that's my think piece right there.
Yeah.
Well, and we're gonna our next segment, we are gonna talk about our local political opinions, because that does need to be addressed. Because and like both of y'all said, we need to speak up about political views more, especially in the Black community. Because I do get tired of always seeing us fighting each other when we need to be fighting the system, because the system is beating our ass. But y'all, this is the end of political opinions. Pop it up, pop goes the weasel, popcorn. And we'll see y'all on the next episode of Political Opinions. Peace, y'all.
Peace.
Peace.
Or I'm innocent and Mama, I love you. P.O.P. all the time.